Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. I'm holding 3 of the new Fragrance World and French Avenue releases. Lumier Garçon, Tropical Kiss and Sultry Oods. So, let's try them. So unfortunately, when I started the recording the original video, about 1 minute after the start of the video, my microphone decided that it's a good idea to stop working. So apologies for that, but I'll have to redo the whole video, and you won't be able to actually check out to see the whole unboxing. And I'm going to basically go over the 3 fragrances again. I hope this time the microphone actually works. I'm going to start with the Tropical Kiss fragrance from Fragrance World. It comes packaged in this orange looking box that feels of really high quality. It's very thick cardboard box. The concentration here is EDP. The bottle size is 80 milliliters, and the production date, if anyone is interested, is June of 2024. When you slide out the box, this is how the bottle looks. Now I have the fragrance sprayed on a paper strip from my earlier try, but again I'm going to respray this fragrance just so I can show you the actual sprayer in here. It's a good sprayer, actually very good, very decent distribution. The cap here is plastic, but it's a snug fit. And this fragrance opens up quite bright and quite fresh in the first few minutes. In the first basically like 1 minute, the strongest notes here are an orange blossom note and the mango note. The mango note is basically the main note in this fragrance. Somewhere in the background in the opening I can pick up a coconut note, I can pick up quite a bit of vanillic sweetness as well. But it feels quite sweet and juicy and fruity. Now after the first few minutes pass, this starts to lose its freshness. There's a bit of a floral touch to this one. There's an orange blossom note in here, as I said, but the more time passes, the more this orange blossom note actually turns into a real orange note. The mango becomes stronger, and also the coconut and the vanilla notes are becoming stronger and stronger as the time passes. There's a hint of powderness in here from an iris note, I think, as well. But all around this feels very fruity, very sweet, and also a hint of floral. When this goes into the dry down, basically what happens, at least the early dry down, that's as far as I've went so far with all 3 fragrances, it becomes a little bit more creamy. Pretty much that floral freshness that I get in the opening completely goes away, and on the dry down it's a mix of the mango and the coconut actually becomes more and more prominent. Also the vanilla becomes more and more prominent, and that's pretty much it. It's vanilla, mango and coconut on the dry down. It's quite creamy, quite sweet, and feels definitely very feminine, like a very feminine scent. This is supposedly inspired by Mango Kiss from Stephanie Humbert. Now, I've never tried the original fragrance, so I cannot tell you how close this one is, but definitely this smells very feminine, very delicate, and quite nice. Actually, I've been quite impressed of the quality of the scent of Tropical Kiss. Moving on to the next one, the green box that's called Sultry Oods. It's pretty much from the same line like the first one that I showed you, Tropical Kiss. The box design is absolutely identical, although here you have different color combination. Again, EDP concentration, 80 milliliter bottle size. The production date here is May of 2024, and the actual bottle design is also identical, apart from the fact that the color combination here is green and golden. Cap is very similar. Now I sprayed this one on paper strip and on skin in the original video. I'm going to straight up spray it on skin now. Again, a very decent sprayer. I'm not going to do more than one spray because this fragrance is quite strong and loud actually. Now this is inspired by Shem from Nishane. It's been a while since I've tried Shem, but I can pretty much still remember. If I remember correctly, Sultry Oods actually does a very good job at getting close to the original fragrance. Opens up very strong, very floral, with a very strong rose note. Feels kind of green, a geranium note in here, a cardamom note. Also there's quite a bit of leather that's in the beginning, stays somewhere in the background. There's some ambery sweetness and a hint of greenness, like a grassy greenness from this fragrance, but it opens up quite floral and green in the first few minutes. The more this actually starts to settle down on skin and time passes, it becomes more leathery on the dry down, becomes sweeter. The amber note on the dry down becomes quite strong. The rose note is still quite strong, but not as strong as in the opening compared to the dry down. The dry down becomes a little bit more balsamic. It still remains quite green, but not as green and as floral as it was in the opening. The dry down is more about the mix of the leather, the amber, and the rose as well, with some greenness somewhere in the background. It's a very strong fragrance, quite sharp, that at least to my nose seems to be very close to the original scent that it's been inspired by. Also feels very mature, definitely feels as of a dressed up type of scent, quite strong, and you know, I've been really liking this one. Now, definitely not a safe blind buy fragrance because it's too green and you know, probably will be a turn off for some people, but actually I've been really enjoying Sultry Oods because I think it has really nice quality. And the third fragrance featured in today's video is called Lumier Garçon. It's from the Lumier line. It comes in this bluish white box that has this sort of a bluish sleeve on it. There's another fragrance from this very same line that's called Lumier Ellie. I've tried already that one. That one is cloning a Louis Vuitton fragrance. Again, here the bottle size is 100 milliliters, the concentration is EDP, and the production date again is May of 2024. When you take out the actual bottle, it has exactly the same design as the pink fragrance, but this simply comes in a blue accent you know, colors. For me, this type of bottle has always looked like a sort of a night desk lamp or some sort of thing like that. It's an interesting design. Not a huge fan of the bottle design, but it feels definitely of a very high quality on the whole presentation. Again, I tried this one on skin directly, didn't bother with paper strips. The spray here is good. In fact, I think it's the best spray out of all three. Now, this fragrance is inspired by Dolce & Gabbana, the one Luminous Night. Now, Fragrance World already have a clone that's sold under one of their sub-brands, Tour Al Alam, which is called the one and only Moonlit Night, I think, if I remember correctly. And that fragrance turned out to be a complete disappointment for me. For two reasons. The first one, because it felt very synthetic, especially in the first like 5 or 10 minutes, especially up close, and also it lacked on the performance front. It was very cheap, but again it was a complete disappointment for me. And I'm happy to say that Lumier Garçon, at least from my first impression, seems to be on the opposite end when it comes to the quality. At least this opens up way more balanced. It comes really close to the original fragrance. It has a very nice peppery note, black pepper note in the opening that sits somewhere in the background. It tries to balance out the sweetness of the scent profile. There's a hint of a bergamot freshness. You get a hint of greenness from a basil note. There's quite a lot of ambery sweetness and dates sweetness. That dates note actually is what is giving the whole scent you know, that Middle Eastern vibe that the original fragrance has. There's a hint of incense as well in the opening. The way that this changes on the early dry down, at least again as far as I've went with this fragrance, on the dry down it becomes a little bit sweeter. You almost completely lose all of the greenness and the freshness from the opening. The black pepper note is still somewhere in the background, but on the dry down this becomes a little bit more woody. There's a sandalwood note in here. All around feels very nicely blended, very nicely balanced. There's no synthetic feel or harshness in this one compared to you know, the other clone from the same brand, and it seems to be done really nicely, and I've been quite impressed with the Lumier Garçon. A few final thoughts at the end of this first impression video. All three of them are really nice fragrances. All three have really nice quality. They come really luxuriously packaged and presented. They're very nicely blended. Sultry Oud seems to be a very strong fragrance. Lumier Garçon seems to be a superbly done clone of the one Dolce & Gabbana, the one Luminous Night. Tropical Kiss is a very nice fruity, creamy, sweet, feminine scent. All three are really good, and I've been really impressed by all three of them. But all three have one problem, and that's the fact that they're more pricey, more expensive than your average clone. I paid around about 45 to 50 euros for each and every one of them, so they're quite pricey. That's probably the only drawback about the three fragrances featured in today's mini fragrance haul. So guys, in today's video I unpacked and tried for the first time 3 of the newer Fragrance World and French Avenue releases that all 3 actually turned out to be really nice, but at the same time are quite pricey. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.